All right, here are the answers to those monitoring progress questions. So check your work, make sure you got those correct. And then next, we're going to move on to simplifying radicals that have variables. So here's some examples that we're going to do. So it's pretty similar to simplifying numbers. So if we think of x cubed, well, that is really x times x times x, right? And since we have a square root, we're looking for a group of 2. So we can pull out 1x because we have one group of 2, and 1x is going to stay under the root. You could also think of it as x cubed is the square, so we have the square root of x times x times x, and then the square root of x squared times x, right? Because 2x's would be x squared. And then the squared will cancel out with the square root, and then that last x will still be under the root. So that's our answer for number 1. Let's look at number 2. So when we have a number and a variable, we're just going to do them separately. So first we'll do 16. Well, 16 is 4 times 4. 4s will break down to 2s. So now we have 4 2s. So we're looking for groups of 2 because we have a square root. So we have 1, 2 groups of 2. So we're going to pull a 2 out from each of those groups. Now let's think about x to the 5th. Well, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 x's multiplying together. And how many groups of 2 do we have? We have 1, 2, and then 1 left over. So that means we can pull out 2 x's, one from each group, and then that last x is going to stay under the root. So 2 times 2 is 4. X times x is x squared times root x. Okay, let's look at number 3. So notice we have a cubed root, so we're looking for groups of 3 here. And again, we're going to do numbers and then the variables separate. So 32, what could that break down to? Well, we could do 4 times 8. Okay, and then 4 is 2 times 2. 8 is 2 times 4. And again, 4 is 2 times 2. So we're looking for a group of 3. So we have 3 2's here, and then we have 2 left over. So that means we can pull out one group of 2's to be a 2. And then we have the cubed root of 2 times 2, right? 2 2's are left under the root. Okay, now let's do the x's. X to the 6, that means we're multiplying 6 x's. So how many groups of 2 do we have? 1, 2, 3. So that means we can pull out 3 x's. So that's x cubed, right? We're pulling out 1x for each group of 2. In our y, we have 7 y's, right? Y to the 7th. So we have 1, 2, 3 groups of 2, and then we have 1 left over. So we're going to pull out 3 y's, and then we have 1 y left under the root because it doesn't have a partner to bring it out. So our final answer, we have 2x cubed, y cubed, and we have the cubed root of 2 times 2 is 4y. All right, let's look at example number 4. So 52, what would 52 break down to? We could do 26 times 2. 26 would be 13 times 2. Will 13 break down anymore? No, it'd just be 1 times 13, so that's where we're going to stop. So we're doing a square root again, so that means we need groups of 2. So we have one group of 2 2's that we can pull out a 2 from. That 13 doesn't have a partner, so he's going to stay under the root. Okay, now let's look at the x cubed. X cubed means we have 1, 2, 3 x's. So that's one group of 2's and one that's going to stay under the root. So we pull out 1x, leave 1x under. Y's, we have 4 y's. How many groups of 2 is that? 1, 2. And we don't have any left over, so we're just going to pull out a y for each group. So we have y squared because that's 2 y's. And lastly, we have z to the 8th, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many groups of 2 do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means we're going to pull out 4 z's, or z to the 4th. So that would be our final answer. We don't need to simplify that anymore. 2xy squared z to the 4th times the square root of 13x. Okay, now I want you guys to pause your videos and try these monitoring progress questions, and then unpause your video and see if you got the right answer. Okay, so the answer for part A, you should have gotten 7x squared times the square root of 2x. And for part B, 3y times z to the 4th times the square root of 7z. Okay, so that's all we're doing for 4.1a. These review and class problems we're going to do at the beginning of next class.